You are a runner. You do all the right things. You stretch before running and after running. You keep your diet clean. You have your training organized so you don't overtrain. You follow these guys' strength workouts on a regular basis and you change your shoes every 300 miles. Yet still you get those little niggles and injuries here and there and you're not improving as quickly as you should be as a runner. And before you change sports and become a bingo player or a bodybuilder, it could be that your running form is holding you back. So stick around, we're going to have a look at your running form and see if we can make you a better runner to run faster, stronger, and better than ever before. So hopefully you watched part 1 of this video where we were looking at your running form side on. You should still have the image of you running front on. So sit back, get comfy, and we're gonna analyze your running form front on. Common running mistake number 1 is overcrossing your body or crossing your body over. So as you can see on the screen right now, my right foot is crossing my body. So I'm actually landing straight underneath my nose, where my left foot here is landing right underneath my shoulder. So that means that my right foot is landing across my body. Running is a single-legged sport, and in a perfect world we want to make sure or aim to get to the point where both sides are doing exactly the same. Even though we might never get to the point where both sides are exactly 100% the same, that's the ultimate goal, that both sides are doing the same motion, facing the same way in the same angles. So you could be watching the footage and wondering to yourself, how come I'm crossing over? Why am I landing across my body on one side usually? And usually that means that you're missing a bit of mobility in your hips, you're lacking a little bit of strength and balance in your hips, in your glutes. So one side has to overcompensate the other, so that way you stay balanced as much as you can. So that means that one side, we're not sure which one it is a little bit weaker. And our goal is to create enough strength and stability in each individual leg that they should be landing under their own weight and they won't have to be helping the other leg over. If this is you, let's go out to the grass field and see what kind of exercises we can do to improve that. I'll ask my good friend, Mr. Vlad, to explain that to you. Friends, good morning, hello, hello, friends. First exercise, you're going to be sitting down at about 90 degrees on your knees, so something not too low, not too high. You want to be sitting at about 90 degrees, so your knees are about 90 degrees. We're going to start with one side, so my right foot is on the ground facing forward, so you don't want to be opening up. That foot has to be facing forward so we get the right muscles, and that foot is under my shoulder approximately. It's not crossed over, so I'm not doing this. I have one foot on the ground and I'm going to just stand up and then slowly sit back in. I'm going to stand up, get that 1 second so we get that strength, single-legged strength. Again, I'm just going to even up to make sure that that foot is not across me, which is what we're trying to fix here. All right, that's in the right position. Try and come up, and you can see obviously there is a little bit of weakness where my knee falls in, and even though it's an exercise I've been doing for a long time, I still got to do it on a regular basis to build that strength in my glute, to be able to hold that strong running form and not get my body crossing over. And you can start with anything simple as 3 times 1 on each foot, and just make sure you do them correctly, and then slowly over time build to 3 times 8, 3 times 12, 3 times 163. Just make sure that you start slow and build up very, very slow, otherwise your glutes will be sore the next day. Making sure obviously that the form is correct and that foot is facing forward. All right, second exercise, you need a bench or a step or anything above the ground that's about underneath your knee height, so high enough for you to feel this. Again, you're gonna place your foot and make sure that foot faces forward, come up, even up your hips, and then we're gonna come down, planning to touch the ground, but without touching the ground, coming back up. So your chest stays nice and upright, you don't wanna fall in. Imagine you're sitting back, you're gonna come as low as you can, and then come up. Again, putting a bit of focus on those hips, coming back up. So we're building up that stability and strength in the glute. It's gonna happen when you fall back. So if you're coming down to here, we're getting a lot of quad. We wanna get a little bit more of glute, so we're gonna fall back, get to this point where you're about to lose balance, and then come straight up. So I'm coming down, I'm not touching the ground, I'm staying on one foot. We gotta build that single leg strength. So I'm only coming down to about here. So again, making sure you start slow with this exercise. You would start with 3 times 3 or 3 times 5 on each leg, and then build it up over time. As you get stronger, as you develop that glute strength and glute stability to be able to be strong enough so you don't have to cross over when you run. Common mistake number 2 is feet opening up, or duck feet. And you can see how my right foot opens up and all that energy goes to the side. And our goal as we are running forward is all our energy going forward. So we want to get to the point where both feet are facing forward. Even though I'm sure that you've watched running on TV before, and you can see when they sprint to the finish line, their feet might open up, and that's okay. If you have to sprint, and in that sense you open up your feet to get as much power as you can moving forward, that's fine. But on 99% of your running, both of your feet should be facing forward. And the causes of that could be lack of mobility in your feet, again, lack of mobility in your hips. So if your hips are very, very tight, your feet open up to compensate for that. So we definitely want to make sure that you do enough mobility, enough strength work to get that feet facing forward while you're running. And obviously what we talked about in video number 1 is being aware of it. So that's a pretty easy one to fix while you're running, looking down, seeing, is my foot open? Yes, it is, starting to bring that out. And then again, I'm gonna pass it over to Outdoor Vlads to explain to you 2 exercises that could help those feet face forward. Over to you, Vlad. Pretty much the second exercise that we are going to try and figure out here is how can we get that foot from this position out to here. So obviously you want to do some mobility work in your feet, in your hips. That's a bit of a different video, but some strength work that we can do is to make sure that our feet are strong enough in that position. So you're going to take a nice step forward. Going to make sure that that foot is straight, so it's not open up. We don't want this. We want literally straight foot. You're going to stand on that one foot. You're going to even up your hips. Make sure your hips are straight, so they don't want to be here. They obviously don't want to be here. So you want to balance on one foot, which might be already hard for some of you. And then from here, you're literally just going to stand for a bit. Try and relax with your foot. And then if this becomes too easy, you're going to close your eyes. And you can see that my foot is doing a lot of work. I'm wearing shoes, so you can't really see too much, but inside my shoe, all the little muscles in my feet are doing a lot of work to try and balance me here. Again, looks like a simple exercise, but make sure you try this at home. It looks harder than what it is. Literally just closing your eyes, standing on one foot. Every time you fall or lose balance, make sure you come back and just check that that foot is in the right place. We don't want to be doing this exercise while your foot is open, because then we're kind of beating the purpose of this exercise. So again, every time just make sure that foot is straight and your hips are as level as they can be. Once you got better in this exercise, you can start doing the same thing, but this time you're going to be twisting to the side. Imagine you holding your medicine ball, so twisting, and then once this gets easier, all you're going to do is close your eyes at the same time. I can see people walking past laughing at me. Make sure you try this at home. This is definitely harder than what it looks. Common mistake number 3 is usually a weird arm swing. So unless you are doing this or you're doing this, your arm swing should be in approximately the right position. And the main thing to kind of think about when you are looking at your upper body and your arm swing is that they want to be kind of moving forward naturally with your body. So they want to be working with the body and obviously not going sideways, not going above your head or facing the ground. You just want to keep them light and relaxed. So a good way to do that, if you can see kind of the veins on your kind of body when you're running, if you're very, very tense, you want to stay nice and relaxed through it. And imagine kind of holding something in between your fingers, so very, very lightly, and you can kind of run with that to kind of soften the rest of your upper body. So a lot of people when they run, they're kind of very, very tense with the upper body. We want to stay nice and relaxed with our upper body as we are kind of moving forward, and let your arms be a part of your running form and not something that kind of holds it back. So you want it to be very kind of part of your running form, not an add-on to your running form. And when you kind of like looking at your own running form, as long as you kind of seeing it being relaxed and facing forward, you know, I won't be too worried about my upper body. I'll kind of keep it the way it is and just let your body do the natural thing. There's a lot of runners out there that would have like weird arm swings and they're running 2:10 marathons. So, you know, as long as you're kind of on the right track and your upper body works with your running form, you're all good. Sorry there, handsome. Let me interrupt you for a second. Just in case you watched your video and you saw that you cross over and that arm opens up, that's you trying to like almost balance you. So if you see like you have that kind of really open arm swing on one side and not the other, that means that you are crossing over. So usually, you know how you're about to fall and you kind of do something like this, like when you're about to fall. So similar thing could happen there. You could be crossing over and then the same side just opens up a little bit more. So have a look at your footage. If you see that one side is a bit closer to your body and the other side is here, it could mean that you are crossing over just a little bit. Back to you, Mr. Vlad. On a little side note, if you are running and you can see that your head is tilted to one of the sides, then that's probably something that you do want to kind of think a bit about. Again, if this has been working for you for the last few years and you've been running like that for a long time and you're a good runner, you're staying away from injuries, keep doing what you're doing, don't change anything. But if you just had a look at yourself running and you see that your head is tilted a little bit to the right side, and then you kind of remember that you have tight neck always on the left side, then maybe that is the cause of that. And that's when you want to start kind of trying to fix that. And a good way to try and fix that is actually standing in front of a mirror. And what I would do is I would stand on one leg in front of a mirror so I can see myself. And then all I'm working on is even lines. So I'll kind of even up my own hips, even up my shoulders, create a straight line with my head so it's facing forward. And then I'll kind of like pretend to be running with my arms. But what I'm trying to think about is straight line through my hips, through my shoulders, and through my head. And then as I'm doing that, my arms are just kind of moving the same way as if I was running in a straight line. So not moving sideways, head is not tilted to the side, hips are not twisted to the side. And doing that a few times in the gym, we just kind of create that link between your head and your head, between your head and your arms, and between your head and your hips as well. So most important thing when you are changing your running form is to create those links. And once you're aware of something going the wrong way, you can easily change that. Hopefully you got some value out of that video. If you did, smash that like button. Subscribe to the channel, a lot more videos to come. Here is a great workout to improve your mobility. So if you're a runner that struggles with a few of the things that we talked about today, some of them can be coming out of lack of mobility. So check out that workout, try and do it a few times a week, and you will see that after a while it will really pay off. Otherwise, I wish you a wonderful rest of your day, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace.